Look at this. That's stunning. Wow.
I mean, we inspect the guitars before they come here, and then we 100% inspect them when they get here.
And it's not like this is an easy challenge. Would you say the odds are stacked against you or in your favor?
It's very complicated.
So what innovations or improvements are you most proud of in today's lineup, especially when it comes to this quality control, this beefed up quality control?
You know, it's a great question.
This episode of Axescursions is proudly brought to you by our official sponsor, Guitar Center. Whether you're chasing down your favorite dream guitar, testing the latest amps, or just getting lost at the massive pedal stations, nothing compares to experiencing your favorite instruments in person. So head to your local Guitar Center today and feel the power of music right in your hands. Now let's dive into our exclusive visit to BC Rich headquarters.
All right, everybody, here we are at the headquarters for BC Rich in Orlando, a place that no one has been to yet outside of the staff of BC Rich. So it's a true honor to be here without a doubt. And to make things even better, I'm not here alone. I am here with the CEO of BC Rich Guitars. He's been in the music industry, I mean, for as long as I can remember. He is legendary, and you'll understand why very soon. I'm talking about none other than Bill Xavier.
How much money do we pay you for that?
And thank you for being here.
No, thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for opening the doors for us, because I know that, this is not something that's open to the public, really. And it's an honor to get an invite. And some of the things we just saw here, guys, blow your mind. I mean, the guitars you guys are building, just the plans you have set up for the future. This is a really important time in the history of BC Rich Guitars.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to that in a little bit. And what I want to do, because me and you, we first met at Summer NAMM, I think it was 2018 or 19, and we've stayed in touch ever since, on and off. But for our audience on Masters of Shred who may not be familiar with your background, kind of help us out, a sum up of that.
I mean, long-time guitar player, and I had the dream to be a rock star, and I was fortunate enough to start young. I was teaching guitar when I was like almost 16 years old, and the only reason why I had the qualifications, if you can play any Eruption from Eddie Van Halen or anything from Randy Rhoads, then you were designated as like the local neighborhood guitar teacher, even though I wasn't qualified to do that. But I grew up in the music industry, in the music business, and doing retail when I was teaching lessons. And I was fortunate enough to study under Joe Satriani, amongst some other great guitar players. Steve McKnight, who's one of the best guitar players I've ever seen. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Dave Kramer and a bunch of other guys. But I just learned from the best people, and that's the best way to go. But at some point in my career, we were nirvana'd. And what I mean by that is that there was a period of time where rock was great. There was this differentiations, hair bands and thrash bands, and somewhere in the middle we lied. But when the industry kind of changed overnight from the Pearl Jam days and Nirvana and the Soundgarden, that whole vibe changed. I didn't really want to change with that. So I decided to stay in the music industry, and I became a sales rep for Command out in Texas. And they were known for Hamer guitars and Trace Elliott and Status basses, and cut my teeth there for a few years, and then immediately moved into a company called St. Louis Music. Became an outside sales representative for them for the Northern California. And I liked doing the rep thing. I enjoyed it. It was connected to the music business still, but it wasn't my calling. A gentleman by the name of John Anning reached out to me and said, hey, Phoebe needs somebody to head up product development for Eddie Van Halen's guitars. And who would, that's like a dream. So I wasn't able to be a rock star or playing on stage, but I got to like help all the people that I admired and looked up to as artists. And so that's kind of where I started cutting my teeth doing product development, doing stuff like the XXX and the custom shop Wolfgang guitars. You know, there was a lot of collectors out there that know how great those custom shop guitars, the V-type guitars, which now they've reissued now as a Vandenberg rotor. I think you might have a rotor. But cutting my teeth on the product development side was where I was. I failed to tell you, though, that during my youth at the music stores, I was a salesman for BC Rich at the store. So I was like the go-to guy when it came to BC Rich at the music shop. We didn't have Fender nor Gibson, and the competitor down the street, you know, he had that kind of covered, and we were kind of more of a metal shop, hard rock shop. And so if you wanted to get a Bitch or a Mockingbird or a Warlock or a Gunslinger, we were the go-to place.
Wow.
And so I did that sales part of that for almost a decade, and from there, I told you about the PV days. I went to Hanser Music Group, which owned BC Rich, and of course I felt like I was at home. So BC Rich purchased BC Rich from Bernie Rico in 1999, and shortly thereafter, actually the next day, I think actually Bernie Rico, God bless his soul, passed away. And but Hanser Music Group had BC Rich, and so for over a decade, I was doing sales and product development and marketing with BC Rich. So it's like I saw it growing, I saw it making some moves, good, bad, or indifferent. But so I was with BC Rich for those different decades, when it was great, when it was trying to be good again, you know, and then I watched some moves that they made until about 7 years ago, where we got together with my partners and they bought BC Rich.
Wow.
And so my whole existence has been built around developing products, you know, as a player, not as somebody who just wanted to make money in the music industry. It was all predicated on the love of guitars and amps. And it's not just guitars, it's isolated to what I like. I mean, everything that you have in your house, I probably would love, because it's kind of, you know, I see pictures of, you know, BC Riches or Jacksons, or, you know, I think you just got yourself a floral print Ibanez gem. I mean, things that we all grew up on that are iconic and great. For me, there was BC Rich, Jackson, and Charvel, and then everybody else. And those three brands were all American brands. And they, you know, there was something about those three brands in particular I always thought were great. BC Rich being the first of all of them. I mean, Grover Jackson drew the logo for the BC Rich script. He used to work for BC Rich. So it's like, you know, there's lineage there through all of those companies, that they all went through BC Rich first before they went on to do their own things and become great themselves.
Right.
But so yeah, my whole life has just been about that. So it's always been about, you know, Warlocks and, you know, Randy Roses, or my first real guitar that I bought was an Ibanez Destroyer, which, you know, I long for to get one day just to have just as a memory. But that's for me, that's, you know, my whole background's been based around
Wow.
the love of that.
So in a way, let's kind of recap this a bit. Taught by Joe Satriani, one of your teachers, worked with Eddie Van Halen. You know shred very well. You can shred very well. If you guys have not seen the interview he's done on Herman Lee's show, where he was jamming with Herman Lee, you gotta check that out. This guy knows shred. This company's forged in shred, and honestly, I don't know that it could be in better hands at this point for the future going forward. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I think, you know, as we mold the company, it's not a that you have to shred, but it's nice knowing that the people that are associated with this company all can. And I use shred, you know, John Sherando, I mean, we say that he can shred documents. That's, you know, we joke, we say that, but even he's trying to play guitar. His favorite shape is the Ironbird. This Ironbird was signed by the whole company for him. He got rather ill during COVID, and he was one of those guys that had to go on the ventilator, you know, and it's just like, we renamed it during that time as the Iron John, because that was his favorite shape.
That's great.
And, you know, and which is conversely one of our best-selling shapes these days. It's interesting that it's not going to surpass a Warlock or a Mockingbird, but it's like, it's up there. It's pretty crazy. But I think, you know, having people that play the instruments makes it a better company. I really do.
So I'm going to have a couple questions for you, and we're going to touch on a couple different topics. Answer them however you'd like. It's going to give you guys a great insight into, really the rich history, no pun intended, of BC Rich Guitars and its incredible, promising, super bright future that's on the horizon for this company. So we're going to go into all that. And again, if you guys do not subscribe to this channel, do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, shred the notification bell, drop a comment, share it with a friend. It's the easiest way to support this channel without ever having to open your wallet. But if you do want to open up your wallet, check out mastersofshred.com. We got some incredible merchandise that you will absolutely love, and especially our Super Halen amps. So with that out of the way, check that out. And again, big thank you to our official sponsor of this episode, Guitar Center, where you can shop all the BC Riches we're going to cover in this video online and via the affiliate links below. So let's just hop right into it. All right, so first question. We're going to go cover the legacy and the personal connection between you and BC Rich. So with BC Rich having such a rich legacy, going back to the 60s, the 70s, from the Seagull and the Mockingbird to the Warlock, that has become literally an icon for the metal era, the metal genre. What was your personal first connection with BC Rich Guitars, and really what made you want to take on the role of guiding this brand into the next chapter?
It's a great question. My first BC Rich was a custom-made ST. It was a neck-through body, white. They didn't put Floyds on the guitars back then because Kramer had all the rights to the Floyds. So if you had to get a Floyd, you had to go through the mafia to get it. So I got a Floyd, and then Bill Bartolini, who's no longer with them, God rest his soul, we were kind of a testing ground for Bartolini pickups. So when he made a pickup called the LCE 70, you'd bring it into the shop, and all of us would try his pickups out and say, yeah, we like this, we don't like that. We really like the Seymour Duncan Super Distortion, that's H6, or we like the DiMarzio Super Distortion, that's kind of our vibe. And then EMGs was obviously coming out, but so I sent that guitar down to get built. They built that for me, got it in pearl white, and then I immediately fell in love with an Ironbird. So my next one was an MK1 Ironbird. And Ironbird really didn't fit as much as our music genre, but I just loved it. There's something about that guitar that I just thought it was awesome. Always wanting, when I was a kid, I liked the Explorer shape a lot. Yeah. And the Ironbird's kind of a variation of that theme. And then I got a Gunslinger and Snakeskin. And the first day that I got it, I remember I think I paid like $800 for it with the case. And I went home and I took a rasp to it and I scalloped the whole fingerboard because Yngwie Malmsteen had a scalloped fingerboard. And I thought, I'm going to try this. It'll help me play like Yngwie, which it didn't. It didn't really help. It just made me more confusing. But those were the first three guitars that I had, and I probably bought those all within 2 years of themselves. And I've had bitches, and I've had Warlocks, and
you're really a lifelong fan of this brand.
Oh, I love it.
It's kind of like a full circle moment. Everything
100%.
You've done, right? Yeah. To now have this opportunity to take this on, and it's not like this is an easy challenge. Would you say the odds are stacked against you or in your favor?
I think the odds are in my favor because I don't give up, nor do my partners. BC Rich is debt free. We don't owe anybody a lot of money, so that's a good foundation to stand upon. And it hasn't been easy for any company. I think companies get hit with COVID, and then they get hit with COVID again, and then they get hit with issues with tariffs that we're dealing with right now. So everything it's very complicated, but it's still moving forward, still progressing, still keeping that mindset of this can be done. And so it's stay open for 30 more minutes per se. Let's keep answer that one extra email as best as you can. Try to just keep moving the ball forward.
Very good point, because right now as we're filming this, it is a Saturday. Tomorrow will be a Sunday. You work weekends.
I do.
You are here. You are the CEO. You are looking at these guitars that come through these doors.
100%.
And you're looking at them when they go out.
Yep.
You don't see that a whole lot, folks. So I'm going to keep that in mind. Very, very cool to see. And it's honestly very refreshing. Yep. So, and then when you play a BC Rich today, You can probably sense that. You know, the quality is, and we'll talk about that quality control. We'll get into that. So as far as BC Rich's legacy and what really sets it apart, I mean, this brand is often mentioned with names like Ibanez, Charvel, Kramer, Jackson, Dean, but its history is definitely unique. So in your view, what makes BC Rich different from other shred, which is hard rock guitar brands that came later?
Yeah. Well, besides the obvious of Gibson and Fender and Rickenbacker, a company called Tokai Guitars was out a little bit sooner than BC Rich. Then there was BC Rich. And then everything else after that, the ESPs,
You mentioned Grover Jackson.
You know, Grover Jackson.
Kind of same logo there.
And you know, they all came after. But what I think is unique about BC Rich is you know, you don't, you know, I'll use Ferrari as an analogy. You don't see Ferrari like trying to make something that doesn't fit within the brand. And so being a neck through body guitar company primarily, other than some of the legacy stuff that we still do bolt on, I think BC Rich can be labeled as like the first production company to do a neck through body. And the other side of it is, if you were playing a Strat and you took a picture of it backwards from the behind the stage, you know, you'd be more likely to tell you who the guitar player is playing it, Stevie Ray Vaughan or Eric Clapton, by their silhouette. The guitar shape, you know, everybody can kind of make that shape. And I think that the shapes that we make, whether you're indifferent if you like them or don't like them, is that intellectually property of the guitars are very unique. So we don't have to make a Les Paul copy. We don't have to make a Strat copy. And there's a lot of them out there that are better or equally as good as any of the other ones.
Go to the world of boutique guitars, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's.
Yeah. So I mean, it's we're not out to improve on something that's already awesome. Les Pauls are great, Explorers are great, you know, Strats are great, Tellys are great, and I don't condone any company that, you know, I don't blame somebody for wanting to make a better mousetrap, but I think that's what's unique about BC Rich, is that you can look at it and go like, oh, that's a Warlock, that's a Mockingbird, that's an Ironbird, that's an Eagle, and sometimes people ask us to, you know, why don't you bring back some of these other shapes that we used to do? And it's like, because it really isn't a BC Rich shape. That's what a custom shop's for. You can order it from a custom shop, but we're not doing some of these shapes. Even during the late '80s, early '90s, I mean, they did a small run of Strat type guitars. Yeah. You know, and it's just not us. And I think that's what makes us unique.
I remember how great the ads were.
Oh yeah.
I remember you guys had that model called the Virgin.
Yeah.
The ad was just like,
yeah, we couldn't do that today.
No, you couldn't do that today.
Yeah.
I'll put a pop-up of it, but like,
have you plucked a virgin?
I know.
Have you plucked a
yes,
virgin today?
And it didn't have like the guy, like he was a corpse in the bed.
There's a corpse in the bed with a hot chick. I mean, BC Rich used to have panties in their catalog. I mean, you remember Guitar World for the longest time had the Jenna Jameson ads. You know, she did a Jackson and she's done it with a BC Rich. They had that centerfolds and.
Yo, is that like a signature model?
No, it
wasn't. The artwork was?
I don't remember what guitar that she had. But
I think that was during the platinum years, right?
No, the platinum.
2000s?
No, it's somewhere around that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I remember that. Yeah. So, okay. I appreciate you answering these questions. These are great, by the way. The response, I mean, hopefully you guys are finding this as informative as we are. I mean, just to be here. And again, this is a legendary brand. And, you know, we don't get this opportunity often. So we really appreciate being here and happy you guys are tuning in.
It's fun. I should do this more.
Yes. Just with us, right? No. All right, so let's talk about something that's very impressive, okay? We talked about this privately on the phone, and I'm really excited that we're going to share this with everybody. So one thing that really impressed me in our conversation is that unlike many other brands who outsource, you know, their import lines, you actually spend time at the factory, in this case in India, personally overseeing a lot of the builds and the quality control. So why is it important for you to take that kind of hands-on approach? You know, and how does it affect the guitars that players are buying today?
You know that any country can make a great guitar. So you take a drawing and you put it into Rhino or SolidWorks, whatever they use to make a CNC. And let's just for shits and giggles say that everybody has a Fidel CNC machine or a Sabre tables, whatever. You can glue up the wood. You know, most of our wood comes from the United States, like our maples from the United States, and mahogany is not all from the United States. Some of it is. Our USA stuff is all it's not all mahogany is from the United States. But for all intents and purposes, all of our alder, all of our maple comes from the United States. Well, I mean, you want to make sure they're using the wood that you're speccing. That's important. But they all can put these on the machine and cut out a body and paint it. And they all, if they followed the programs and they had the same painter, they would all kind of be the same in a sense, you would think, because of the way the machine does. But it loses that because CNCs don't just really, it's not all of what makes the guitar great. It's the actual handwork that you do at the ending, the sanding and the prepping. And so I think getting people to make sure that they're following processes that work. Not that I'm a process specialist, but it's like I've been doing this long enough to see if they're making a mistake in processes. And at the same time, I'm learning processes as well. I've seen, whether you go to World, which is one of the greatest guitar factories out there, I mean, their processes are amazing, But you still have to go there and oversee because some things can change. I mean, it's like, to me, it's important not to open up the back of the guitar and have 20 feet of the pickup wound up and zip tied inside of it. It's like, just take the time, cut it, solder it better. Don't use the cheap pots. It's like, those are little things. And if you don't pay attention to what pots they're putting inside of them, or what how they're wiring them, or what woods they're doing, or what fret wire they're using, and what tuning machines they're using, sometimes they'll just put whatever they have in the box on a guitar.
Yeah. And
so being able to go to the factories, you get to actually see where your components are. You get to see your component bins. You get to see where your products are. Also being in touch with the vendors. So if we're buying from Larry DiMarzio or from Seymour Duncan pickups, Gary Kahlers or Andy from Floyd, I know what they're ordering from the factory. I know that they're ordering from the factory, and I know that they're getting there. I mean, I just recently changed the Legacy series to SIT strings because the last batch of strings that came in, I wasn't happy with it. So PJ and I changed out probably 250, 300 guitars, sets of strings, because they came in and they weren't right. I'm not going to send those to a customer.
And you don't see a lot of CEOs having this much of a hands-on approach, where they're getting in a plane and they're flying dozens of hours overseas to see and make sure that everything is up to code. That says a lot.
There is companies that care. There are companies out there that do care, that do go to the factories. I think the bigger the ones are, they have people on the ground at the factories.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is that those people that go and inspect the instruments that I see from other companies, they don't actually, a lot of them don't really play. So they're looking at the actual, they'll take a spec sheet, they'll take their measurements, they'll say this is supposed to be like that, they'll look at the fit and finish of the guitar and say, yeah, this is great to go. And I'm not comfortable with that. We're not comfortable with just, I mean, we inspect the guitars before they come here, and then we 100% inspect them when they get here.
And again, it comes back to the point is you're a player.
Yeah.
You've seen this brand evolve over the course of decades. You used to sell them back in the day when you were a kid.
Yeah.
You understand what it should be at its pinnacle, right? And where you want to see it go, you have a better idea. And a lot of times these companies, they get guys that come in, but they don't have the background in the music, but they're business-minded, which you need. So it depends, right?
There's guitars that got out there that weren't up to par. They weren't good enough for PJ and or I or somebody else didn't set them up quite right. Maybe they sat in a warehouse for too long. You sit in a hot country, you're in a hot state, and you don't have air conditioning or humidity control. It's like, I bet some of these fret ends probably are coming out a little bit.
Right.
But that's just what happens in the climate. So you can't make everybody always happy, but
that's also kind of out of your control, though.
Yeah, but when it does happen, it's like it means a lot to us personally that, hey, we failed. We didn't make a good pizza. We have to do better.
And for everybody that's wondering too, when you mentioned PJ is a master technician here at BC Rich, who again overlooks all the guitars that come through here before they even get to you, along with yourself too. You're hands-on as well. So, and you guys will see PJ in this video either before this segment or after. So
we refer to PJ as the guitar tuner.
The guitar tuner.
Yeah, it's a running inside joke.
I like it. You may have to explain that afterwards or during.
No, it's just people that don't know the process of guitars. If they're walking around, we're kind of like in the massive warehouse that you saw. People come in because the coolest thing in the warehouse is actually the guitars.
Yeah.
So maybe something like a CFO walking around showing off stuff, and like they come out there and they go, "This is PJ. He's the guitar tuner." as he's sitting there with 2,000 grit wet sanding a guitar that had a blim on it that he has to like buff out.
Right.
So that it's like, hey, this can't go to a customer, or he's polishing frets, or God forbid you have a bad solder job or something missing.
Yeah. Yeah, you were hearing
We
about
had a
it.
guitar yesterday that had the strap locks weren't put on. I mean, it's like if we didn't go through the guitars, then I would have realized that the customer would have got it and go like, "Where's my strap locks?" Strap buttons.
This is the little things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The little things that they pay attention to, which is again very, very refreshing. All right, so here we are, BC Rich headquarters. Show us this incredible legacy line that really checks off every box.
This is glitter rock white.
Oh wow! Look at the fretboard too.
So this is a true neck through body. A lot of people will say that they're neck through body, but they'll have what they call a scarf joint. This is actually 3 pieces of maple, made in the maples from the United States. Grover locking tuning machine. So every guitar we make at this point has locking tuning machines.
That's incredible.
And people always say, why would you put locking tuning machines when you have a locking nut? I say it's made for the guy who's playing on stage. And if you've ever seen a Formula One race car, they don't have 6 lug nuts or 4 lug nuts. They have only one. Change it fast. You put it in, you cut it, turn it, you're done. You don't have to worry about it. This one actually has custom-made Seymour Duncans. These are SH6s that we did black on black with black writing.
See that?
And then,
That's really pretty.
And then the Kahlers.
See black writing on this? Yeah. It's custom made for
Yes, just
you
for us.
guys.
Yeah, we custom
Wow.
spec them.
And the really great traditional Kahler on here. That's stunning. And this is, what kind of price range?
That is $14.99.
Look at the quality
Ebony
though.
fingerboard. Yeah, I mean,
You feel this? This, folks, you can't feel this because you're not here. This is smooth. This is the test I do for every guitar I touch. Does it feel like glass?
By the
Does
way,
string
this is
feel
out
like
of the
glass?
box. It's not.
This is out of the box.
Yeah, it's never been touched. None of these have been set up yet. So
This is quality control, folks, that is hard to beat.
every one of these.
Oh, man. It
This-
feels
this is-
so good, so solid.
This is a week's worth of work us to go through, maybe a week and a half.
Hey everybody, just a quick reminder, if you'd like to show your support for this channel, and we'd love it if you would, then make sure to check out our limited edition Masters of Shred merchandise at www.mastersofshred.com. You can snag an awesome shirt like this incredible Shred Class of '89 ADA Throwback Tribute, or plenty of other ones that you will not find anywhere else. So check that out, and while you're there, make sure to check out our incredible limited edition Tone Arts USA Super Halen amp. Only 50 will be available, and they are going quick. Now back to the show.
So, a question I got for you too. Back in the day, Bernie Rico Sr., he pushed innovation. We talked about this. You mentioned with necks through designs, which you guys were one of the first. 24 frets, seamless joints. So, what innovations or improvements are you most proud of in today's lineup, especially when it comes to this quality control, this beefed up quality control?
It's a great question, and I don't think that any innovation that's happened for guitars, some of it can be accessories, Fluence pickups. Some people think are great. I mean, there's changes to components, but for me, I think the decades of fans that follow BC Rich. There's people in the forums that will, that sit there and like, oh, they don't make them like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And now when we make them like they used to, it's kind of like, oh, these are this ridiculous price that you're asking for it. It's like, I mean, you want a handmade guitar today, it's not going to be the same price it was back in 1979 or 83.
Well, that's funny. Okay, we talked about this too.
Yeah.
Okay, and I want to make this point because you guys know I'm an inflation calculator fanatic. I love to see back then what things were priced at, what the equivalent is today. And I did some math, okay? Back in the 70s, you get a handmade Eagle, which as we know today is worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars from the 70s, but back then it was $999. You take that to the rate of inflation today, $55,000 to $6,000 for an American-made, incredible instrument. Is it really high priced today, or are we just spoiled from extremely cheap labor and extremely cheap goods? Think about that.
So and I agree with you, going back to your question about advancement, I think the biggest advancement that we did as a company is we drew a line in the sand of no more, I'm not referencing China as being cheap, but just no more $199, $299 guitars. That was an important aspect of BC Rich, because it was at Christmas you could go to Guitar Center and you'd see stacks of ASM guitars or Warlocks for $199, $299, and it's not really good for the brand, because the guitar that's behind you that's autographed, that's what that $199 guitar is good for. It's perfect for that. And so we have kind of alienated some people that like BC Riches for the cheap price for the shape. But the advancements that we've made is that I have people that a certain decade where people value the U series Japanese guitars as the best imported BC Riches ever to be made. Now people are comparing the guitars that we're making in Korea and or India as on that same caliber. And so I'll take that, and I'm happy to, I'm happy to compare those models to each other, because that's when they think that the golden era was the handmades and the best imports were made in Japan. So I feel like we got the handmade thing down, and I feel like that we're at a point where we're putting out a product that I think is equal or better than the U series that we used to. And I'm sure that on whatever social media platform, people are going to be like, yeah, bullshit, yeah, bullshit. But if the people on social media who don't like abalone, or they don't like the aesthetics, stuff like that, like on this Ironbird here, I get that, I understand it. But that was a legacy of BC Rich. It wasn't something that we copied. Those are things that BC Rich were doing before it was fashionably cool.
Well, it's funny, I've seen these on the V-types
Yeah.
that you were part of in designing. So when you did that, you carried that from BC Rich over to Phoebe.
But I didn't get that from Phoebe. I got that from BC Rich.
BC Rich.
Because they had, before they made their first electric guitar, they made an EMB bass, which is like an old Gibson bass, and it was like adorned with abalone, and the inlays on that bass were snowflakes, or the open diamond. Some people call them, like on that they call it snowflakes.
Right.
And so when we brought back the abalone, we just wanted to do something different. It was just like, it was a different, and we make guitars with or without, but I think our biggest advancement is just making a guitar that is up to par.
Right.
And I think, even on our cheapest guitars, they have, Seymour Duncan American-made pickups. Or it has a Kahler on it, American-made Kahler.
Yeah. And you don't see Kahlers on anyone's guitars really stock.
Yeah,
I think GNL's throwing them on Jerry Cantrell's.
Jerry
That's
Cantrell,
really it, right?
I think Dean has a couple guitars with Kahlers on them.
Oh, the Kerry King has a Kahler, right?
Kerry King
He's
has a
probably
Kahler,
with Dean now. I forget that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
wow.
yeah, it's really not because people don't like them or don't want them. It's just very expensive. You go online and you look at a price of a Kahler, it's up in the $200 range. It's like, it's not really any different for us to buy it, and by the time you buy it and send it to Korea or Indonesia or India, I mean you're talking I think to send 200 pickups, 200 bridges to a factory is like $3,000. Just in freight and duties.
What I love too, because we just toured the factory. We looked at a lot of these new legacy models, you guys. The whole legacy lineup is incredible, but just the options you have to where you have gorgeous finishes. The finishes here at BC Rich really are phenomenal. If you go to any Guitar Center, you look at the Gunslingers on the wall, the paint are so deep, it's so rich. It reminds me of like the highest end. And I'm just using this as an example. I remember my dad's 1987 Beretta that he had. It was like this beautiful burgundy, just deep. I mean, the paint jobs you guys are doing, phenomenal. And what do you got over here? This is another one.
This is an ST3. People were asking us to bring the old STs back. And so this is a bolt-on. It's basically the Gunslinger body with a hum single. Again, locking tuning machines. SH6 into the Seymour Duncan custom single coils.
Wow. Ooh, this feels great too. Out of the box.
Out of the box.
Out of the box.
And I can already tell the Floyd's not set up right. You got a little bit of, you have, stuff like,
slight little dip, but this is still far better than I've seen. We're being completely transparent here. That's out of the box. Yep. This is what you guys hear. This is what PJ's here setting these up, and this is like.
If a Floyd's, if it's rocking back this way or walking that way, it's not right.
It's so like, smooth. Yeah. It's like glass.
But it's
this is
ebony fingerboard. It's not something you always find out on.
And it has that pop. It has that pop that I always look for in a good Les Paul.
Yeah, it's very percussive.
It's got that pop.
Yeah, it's very percussive.
Wow.
The Crackle thing has just been people demanding it,
That's
asking
beautiful.
for it.
The maple. Look at this. Oh, that's stunning. Wow. The maple. That is. So this is a great thing, right? The options with your guitars is that you have these great finishes, and they are incredible, but you have different bridge options. I mean, you can get it with Kahler, and you have models that come with the Floyds.
Yep.
And I love Kahlers, don't get me wrong. There really was a learning curve for me when I got my first real Kahler because it's capable of so much. I mean, you can fine tune your string spacing, whereas with a Floyd, you got to keep on going up higher tier to get those really tight, small string spaces so you can really pick faster and get there quicker. But I love Kahlers. And I think if you don't have a Kahler in your arsenal on one of your guitars, the fact that you can go to like your local guitar center and grab one on the wall on one of these guitars is just phenomenal. So very cool. I do love the options you guys have. So I want to go into something that I don't know if you could say this is the elephant in the room, because you know on the path you guys are going, I don't think this is going to be something that gets discussed much, but I think it'd be great to kind of address it. All right, it's just the misconceptions about the brand. So, you know, BC Rich, we talked about this a little bit, went through a period where some players felt the quality was inconsistent. So what are the biggest misconceptions you see out there about BC Rich today, and how are you actively changing that narrative?
So this is probably the easiest question that you've asked me so far today.
Okay, shocking.
And it's really simple, and I'm not a fan of social media, but I understand that it's there. That's how people communicate. So there's two things. There's people who will criticize and critique the brand that have never purchased a new BC Rich in decades. And I'm happy that we have that customer. I'm happy that that person, good, bad, or indifferent, comes in and talks about BC Rich. If somebody actually bought a guitar that's new from any of our series, they don't go online and go, look at this piece of shit that I bought. They usually go online and say like, man, this guitar was great. And so I think the misconception of quality for us is people who don't like our prices because they're used to buying a Rave or a Platinum series that was a lot cheaper, or even the BC Rich 1 or Ironbird 1s or ASM 1s, the 1 series of guitars. They're used to being able to go buy the guitar for $199, which would be $399 today probably. Right. But they're used to buying guitars at that price. So we've priced ourselves out of those people who go online and complain about us, right, that don't own or have tried the new ones, And so that to me is an easy question to answer, is that if you bought one of the newer models from us, whether it be the Extreme series or whether it be a Prophecy series or even any new Legacy series, and yes, I'm sure somebody's gotten a guitar that hasn't been right or a neck twisted or something crazy. We did the Stranger Things guitars, which was a collaboration. That was about the most inexpensive guitar that we possibly had, and very few problems with those guitars.
They're all great. They're all they were numbered and they were limited.
Yes.
So it was very cool to see which number you could get. I know there were some numbers that are more desirable than others.
Oh yeah, 666 and number 11. Those were like that was.
Yeah, I played one at the Guitar Center I used to live above in Orlando. And I told you earlier, I think that video got over 1 million views on Instagram, and it was an incredible guitar.
And that was made for what that was, but so. To gauge us on our quality and our advancements, you really have to have played one before you can go online and say that you have it. I think overwhelmingly people that critique us are people that haven't bought the guitar. I mean, we had a guy recently who got a Gunslinger. You know what? I'm going to reach out to that guy and say, I want it back. I'm going to send you one. I want to see what we did, where it go wrong. Or was somebody just trying to be overly, critical because they don't like BC Rich or they don't like me or whatever it is? Did we really send something out like that?
Right.
Because I don't think we're capable of sending out a guitar like that.
Yeah. And some people will also say, well, I can go try it, but if I don't like it, I got to send it back. But you can go to a store, a physical brick and mortar, and find them and try them and check about the finishes, check out the playability of the guitars yourself. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I've seen that with a lot of different brands. People were a fan back then when they made it at a lower price point, like you said, and then they don't want to come aboard to just quick to throw the jabs. I understand that.
I showed you a Warlock with a Kahler. Here's a Crackle Warlock purple.
Oh my gosh. That is in the reverse. I love the black on the back of the head and neck too. That is...
I've never been fond of having a glossy finish on the back of the neck, so all of our guitars, most all of them, except the old school legacies, they all have this, satin finish.
It really is a player. This is a performance guitars, man.
I mean, that was the whole idea, that this guitar would be good enough to play on stage.
Wow.
I mean, a lot of people who go on tour don't want to take their high-end guitars with them, so a lot of them, they have no problem playing these on stage because they.
Well, I come out of a box like this. It's pretty incredible. How do you not, right? It's amazing. Like I love the color, man. But the quality, the paint jobs. There's something about these. Like you've seen guitar companies do these kind of crackles, but they don't come off as good as this.
They're hard. It's a hard thing to do.
This is what I was telling you about. That looks like the old Berettas.
Yeah,
that is just a beautiful red.
Actually, every shipment we get, I find a guitar that's like my favorite out of that shipment for that time. So whether it comes from Korea or from handmade or whatever, the red one was like my favorite one this time.
Wow.
So
my
very first San Dimas was red, candy red like that.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful red. It's a really rich red, classy red. Oh man, stunning. And these are all. If you guys want to shop the Legacy brand, you can shop them at Guitar Center online too. And of course, use our affiliate links below. We'll put the links to all these guitar models you see here. And I mean, this is just like, I love it, man. You got the yellow one down here too.
Yeah.
This reminds me of Dweezil Zappa, this green one right here, this Gunslinger.
Yeah.
That reminds me so much of Dweezil Zappa. Oh man, that is, look at the pop on that with flakes.
You also remember CC DeVille played a neon green one.
Yes.
Steve I played a green,
right?
Greeny, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh man, all of them. So smooth. The frets, really like glass. It's so resonant, man. This sets the bar. I gotta tell you, for import guitars, like this is pretty incredible. So, with BC Rich's new era of quality and design, all right, how important is it, would you say, to have strong retail partners like Guitar Center bringing these guitars into players' hands?
My thought on Guitar Center has always been the same, and I've been calling on Guitar Center for over 35 years, which is states it shows that I'm getting old. The industry needs Guitar Center, and the reason why they need Guitar Center is because if there was no Guitar Center, the only thing that would be freestanding left would be just a few mom and pop shops, and there's great short stores like Tommy Coletti, the Music Zoo. I mean, Red Blanket Guitars. I mean, there's like great shops out there still, but they're farther and fewer between. And those great shops specialize in stuff. They specialize in high-end guitars. Chicago Music Exchange. The fact that you can go to a Guitar Center, I think they have 335 stores, right? That you can walk in and have the discovery process of finding something on a wall that you like. For me, when I go to Guitar Center, I never go to the new department first. I always go to the used department just to see what cool stuff is sitting there.
That's what I do.
Right?
Yeah, these gear hunts. Yes.
I mean, I remember going to the Guitar Center in Las Vegas, and they had a Soldano. What was the purple rack mount?
Oh, I know that one. Okay.
Looks like a SLO or
I know the one. I'm looking at it right now.
Well, I mean, they had it priced at like $300 back in the day, and I was like, I bought it. Ended up flipping it. I didn't use it. It didn't work what I was trying to do. But I was like, a Soldano. They didn't know what they had. Right. I think I bought my Lee Jackson's Perfect Connector from there used too. If you remember those.
Wow, really?
The MP1 ADA MP1s. I had to try that because that's what Paul Gilbert used on his clean tone.
Oh yeah, the ADA. We love the ADA. Shred Class 89. Look that up.
The Todd Langer preamps. You'd find like all these cool stuff that would be in the used department. So for me, it's like I love that. But for somebody to be able to walk into Guitar Center and go in and play drums, and I know it probably drives the drum department crazy, but the electronic kit, put the headphones on, let them click away.
Yeah.
But I think that discovery process is so important, and I hope that Guitar Center never goes away, whether they bought products from us or not. The industry is better for having people that go there for lessons, better to have them in business. So I think it's just important.
I totally agree with you, because you look at the shops like you just mentioned. Music Zoo is fantastic. Chicago Music Exchange is incredible. That's one location. It's not convenient for people who have to travel in to go to a guitar store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you having it in every like major city. I mean, we lost Sam Ash, so that was another big one too, where you could go do that. I think without Guitar Center, you would only then rely on, pretty much to the most degree, going online and never getting a chance to actually play these guitars.
Before
you buy them, at least.
There's, being candid, I mean, I see a lot of, negativity towards Guitar Center, and for whatever reason that it might be, I think sometimes people don't realize it's kind of like complaining about your mom or your dad until you realize they're not there anymore. You know what I mean? So it's like you can complain about Guitar Center, but if they go away, then you wish that you didn't complain about them. You wish that you went there and bought your set of strings and all of that.
Yeah.
And it makes it too easy. You can go to Amazon and you can go online and buy a set of Diodarios or whatever strings you want and have them delivered some places the same day.
Yeah.
And or by the next day you have them. And it's like it makes it easy for everybody because life is so busy for everybody.
Right. Right. True.
So I hope that Guitar Center prevails.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it too. And the red one is freaking awesome. Oh man, I love that. This is great. Yeah, how do you just pick one, right?
I'm sorry?
How do you just pick one of these?
No, I mean, it's like...
These all are incredible.
The
they
black
look so good.
The black and white Crackle is my second favorite.
I have picked up, 5, 6 already?
Yeah.
Fret test them all out of the box. They didn't prepare these for me. All they do is open the box. Cut the tape and open the box and lay them out. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
Every one of them has to be set up before it goes to a customer.
Wow.
I'm a stickler on a Floyd. That I hate Floyds that they're not right. Because when the customer gets it, if it's not right, oh, my guitar doesn't play right. How many times have you gone to a shop and somebody's tried to tune the Floyd?
Yeah.
It's like this, or the strings are broken.
Yeah. That's, wow.
This is a cool color. This is Black Pearl.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Multicolored kind of beads. And I don't think you can get that on camera even. Look, that's... Oh, you got it. There it is. Yeah, look at that.
Like a celestial look.
Yeah. Wow. So what do you call that?
Black Pearl.
Black Pearl. Dude, guitars all feel like you're getting a solid
looks good on you.
Guitar. Imagine how good the other one's gonna look.
Yeah. Well, that's where the Impaler's from. It's like
right.
This,
The Impaler we talked about. My gosh, dude, this is beautiful, huh? All these guitars are great, dude.
Yeah, I think they're a great value.
Dude, the future. Like I gotta tell you guys.
I mean, the sad part is that before tariffs, that Warlock would have been like, $12.99.
Wow.
Everything has gone up because of tariffs.
Yeah, but I mean, again, what you're getting though,
Yep.
right? On that note, as far as the legacies of the artists that are attached to BC Rich, I mean, talk about the names already. I mean, you've had BC Riches being played by everybody from Slash, Dave Mustaine, Kerry King, Joe Perry, CeCe DeVille. That's just to name a few. Andy James now, phenomenal.
Yep. Phoebe Bridgers.
Phoebe Bridgers.
I think that it's interesting. It's the women have started coming into Carrie Warlock, which she's a Japanese artist. That's her name is Carrie Warlock. Names herself after the guitar. I'm seeing like a whole upswing of young people that are up and coming. For me, I mean, Andy James is probably one of the best players out there today. I mean, arguably, there's people that say, oh, Andy James at least brings the conversation of who's a better guitar player, this guy or that guy. We haven't had that for a long time. I think that Joe Satriani said it best about Slash. That Slash is, he always says when you see Slash, tell him. He told me this. I told Slash the same thing. I thanked him for being who he is because he's the last of us. Because Joe Satriani, as much as a guitar hero he is, he's not Slash. He's not, you know what I mean? It's like, even Joe Perry's not Slash as far as like that. Slash is a household name, like even Halen was a household name. Randy Rose is a household name.
And people forget this too. I go on with Slash all day. I mean, I've had debates with people since the page called Masters of Shred that Slash is not a shredder. I've already debunked that. Anybody that has ears and eyes knows Slash is a shredder. Listen to his solos. They're incredible. He can rip, he can bring it down, and he can create a melody that is absolutely timeless. And there are so many guitar players that people consider legends that can't do that. More importantly, He broke into different genres. He had a great look. Look is a part of it, folks. I'm sorry. Real guitar heroes, I'm seeing a look with it. I'm seeing Zakk Wylde. I'm seeing Randy Rhoads. I'm seeing Eddie. I'm seeing Vi. You got to have it all. That's a guitar hero. We can talk about this too, in the whole age of guitar heroes. But it's true. But then you got, having that debate. Is this guy better than that guy? Andy's an absolute monster.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, his articulation, he is,
Clean. He's clean.
Dude, see it in person. He's come out to our place in Nashville, and I was just like, my mind is blown. And to think that he plays like that with his action about up to here. And I think he's his 11th. And I'm just like, not human.
Yeah,
he's one of those guys.
They're tuned to C, drop C.
He's incredible.
11 through like 68 or 72, something like that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, could we ever see an Andy James signature 7-string Mockingbird?
He's playing one right now.
I knew he brought it over.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think, yes, that you could see that. You could see that. And he likes that Mockingbird because he's a Slash fan.
You also have a distinguishable sound. Yeah. Eddie was notorious for this, as everybody know. Eddie could tune in and plug into anything. He sounds like Eddie Van Halen.
It's all in his hands.
Thank you. Nuno goes in, and I've seen him do multiple rigs. Sounds like Nuno. So many people that are absolute fretboard wizards doing, as you said, super technical stuff. If I close my eyes and you said who's playing, I tell you, I can't tell you.
True story. Nuno almost came to BC Rich back in 2011.
Are you serious?
Yeah. You can ask Nuno too. I know you.
Almost. What held him off?
Well, I mean, I can't get into details, but he loved Joe Perry's picture of him with the laying back with the Rosewood Mockingbird, the thing. He loves Joe Perry, and it's just like he kind of is a modern day looking, Joe Perry in some regards. I mean, he's. I don't know what's making him not age. That Portuguese blood, because I'm Portuguese too, and it's like he doesn't age. So it's like it's got to be something that he's,
speaking of, he's doing something different now because, he did the Aussie tribute to Black Sabbath, not the tribute. The tribute show's coming up at the VMAs. When was the last time you saw Nuno and Joe Perry on MTV VMAs, even though I don't even think it's going to be on MTV, which is even more confusing. The world of streaming and all these different networks you got to buy to watch the old shows you grew up on is just crazy. But that was just announced, and that will be happening. But for the Black Sabbath show, he wasn't on stage with a Washburn. That guitar had his name on the headstock. And a lot of people have been asking me, because of our connection to Nuno, is he starting his own line of guitars? I can't answer that. But I like where he's going with it.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever it is.
Well, it was like, he was thinking, at that time, Washburn was going through all of their problems and issues that they had. And the builder who makes Nuno's guitar, his name's Chris Mead. Great guitar builder. He built stuff for BC Rich, too. And actually, he built the very first Shredzilla for us.
Wow.
So that was, and the very first, the 50th anniversary models he built for us as well.
He's a great builder.
Oh yeah, he's a great builder. But the thing about the artist, to go back to it, it's like I don't know what's next. I don't know who's going to come out. And like the guy from Polyphia is obviously great, and he has some good followers, and it's like who's the next guitar hero?
Everyone asks that. Red Beaches asked that. But Red Beach's concern was, we did an interview with him, he said, great guys, but can't write a song. Can't write a hit song. And then you're like, and then that goes into a whole other can of worms because truthfully, we're not in the musical landscape that we were in. You don't have the radio. You don't have video airplay. MTV's gone. It's a reality TV network. So who's really rooting for you? Who's promoting you? You have labels signing artists, making their stuff, writing their songs, giving them one album. You never hear from them again. We're not in an environment that cultivates talent like that.
You can make a better sounding album on your MacBook Pro than what we did when we go do a 2-inch reel-to-reel, 24-inch album at Katati.
But there's no marketing. They're like, other than your audience that you create.
Yeah. I'm just saying how easy it is for somebody to print, and
it's
like,
true.
Then you have the AI thing where people are saying, hey, write me a song that sounds like, they talk about love runs into mean streets, it's like, it's also an AI creates a song.
And this is scary because now where's the line going to be drawn where creators and real human musicians don't just say, hey, write me this song, the melody, and I'm going to take it, I'm going to re-record it. but I never wrote it. But I'm gonna tell people I did. Hasn't nobody brought that up yet because that's probably already happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now AI is the songwriter that doesn't need to get publishing on it because you'll take it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a very weird world we're living in. And
Well, so if you ever figure out who the next guitar hero is, let me know so I can get ahead of them.
it may be AI.
You know,
Who
it's like,
knows?
I know. I mean, I think that we had the very first AI video that was ever put out. They were using BC Rich Warlocks and War Beasts. It was like some Tron, not Tron. It's like a, I don't know, the Japanese like animation, whatever. It was like these creatures, and it was like the first AI written song. It was like, it's crazy. What was the song that Extreme put out? It was like Burn, or it was like one song.
Rise.
Rise.
Rise came.
Yeah, when that solo came out, I literally was like, that's what we want from our guitar players. That is like, it's like, can we find somebody to do that same thing but not be Nuno, right? Just to have somebody else carry that you know. And I just and you know, I have Sirius Radio. I listen to all the, you know, the Octanes and the hair metal. You know,
And you know what's crazy about that too? I think it was also right time, right place. Nuno's been playing like that for decades.
Oh, yeah.
And no one was paying attention. To think he comes now at this stage in his life and arguably reaches a milestone he hadn't done in his youth is remarkable and inspirational for everybody in the guitar industry and just the musical genre, like in general, you know, to pull that off. I always say that, I go, who would have saw that coming? I'm so happy for him because I've been listening to Extreme forever since I was a kid, and all their heavier stuff. Everybody gets so hooked on More Than Words that doesn't know. But man, Nuno is a fire breather.
I mean, you think about Youngblood coming out,
Right.
and he's made a niche for himself as possibly the guy to carry that torch. Mm-hmm. Everything about him seems great. He's got the look, he's got the vibe, he's got the voice, he's got the charm. Girls flock after him. You know, it's like he's a perennial rock star, and he's young. I just get a guitar player that's just like that. You know what I mean? It's good for business.
Right.
I mean, the Stranger Things Warlock was better than any artist that I could have gotten, because it now is forever for, you know, a group of people that watch that show will always recognize the Warlock.
And we have the new season coming up.
Yeah.
Any ties with BC?
No. It's you know, you might see it, you might not, but you know, there's nothing that I can tell you that's going to be.
All right. So, okay, to kind of sum it all up, when you think about the next 5-10 years, what do you see as the future for BC Rich under your leadership? Both for the, you know, I'm not going to go into the next question because that might give a little too much. Just keep your eyes on BC Rich. You answer the first part.
Ask me the question again.
Okay.
I went through
Yeah. When you think about the next 5 to 10 years, what do you see as the future for BC Rich under your leadership? And let's just say with the import lines and what you have going on now.
That's a really that's a question that I could answer right now that would be like amazing for everybody to hear, but it's not something I can really dive into. I can tell you right now that the best way I can answer that question is, in the midst of all of these tariffs, this has made, if it hasn't made every guitar company or any company take a look in the mirror and figure out what they need to do different, because it's getting to the point where the consumer is not going to be, you know, they're not happy with a $1,900 imported guitar, no matter what country it's from. That's the next thing is going to be, it's not going to be $1,900, it's going to be $2,500. And so at some point, something's going to have to give. So I think that companies will have to be creative on where they make guitars, how they make guitars, and be, you know, really, really smart with their next steps on what the production comes from. Because it's not a, you know, I don't think that you can take a guitar, you know, country A, whatever it is, that was $1,000, and now next thing you know, overnight it's a $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 guitar. I think you get to a point where it's like, it's like, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a really tough question. I think we're going to continue doing what we're doing by not having cheap guitars, and we're not going to, you know, sorry Floyd Rose, I'm not going to put a Floyd Rose special ever again on a guitar. It's going to be a Floyd Rose 1000, or now they make them in America. I don't know if people know that they're making Floyds in America. You know, we're not going to use a cheap, you know, imported pickup. We're going to support DiMarzio and Seymour Duncan and Fishman.
Yeah.
And I think, although I think the influences are made in China, if I'm not mistaken.
The quality is really taking a front seat. You know, when a lot of brands, it's in the back and it's all about the margins, how much money, how can we make the most amount of money possible by giving a passable product, I feel like. And also, you know, I don't want to get into other brands, but, you know, I've seen some things where I question, scratch my head and go.
I mean, the guitar company's biggest challenge is what's underneath somebody's bed that they bought during COVID with their free money. You know, I mean, there's a bunch of people who bought guitars during COVID, and that's why you saw that boom. Well, those guitars are either now on Reverb or on eBay or under the bed.
Yeah.
You know,
I've seen a weird shift in the market right now. Like I see guitars on Reverb that I can't believe are still sitting on there at the prices they are. I think that consumer spending on things like that is definitely taking a step back with everything going on now.
Yeah.
People are questioning their next purchase. They're questioning if they're going to grab, you know, this meal out here or there. It's a weird time. But I like what you guys are doing. I like the steps you guys are taking to really hone in on what you've done in the past that has worked, and you're applying new methods. But the overall product, like I've walked this floor. You guys have some. I mean, I'm looking at your import line and a lot of the higher end guitars that you guys are offering at Sweetwater that has a lot of them too. The USA builds, they're phenomenal.
Yeah, they're great. They're brilliant. I mean, they're awesome.
I mean, the fit, feel, finish, it's beautiful. And you're not going to know until you really get out there and check them out. So that's why I'm really urging people. If you want to go to a store personally and, you know, you're not in an area where you go to Music Zoo, you don't want to wait on Sweetwater, go to Guitar Center.
You know, the thing about what I love about BC Rich fans, even the ones that are hardcore, you know, thrashing on us, you know, that they don't just have one BC Rich. I mean, they have like, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, they collect them. I mean, it's like people that are into Eddie Van Halen. It's like, have you ever met somebody who was a Van Halen fanatic? Only have a one, you know, at least have a Music Man. They at least have a Phoebe. They at least have a Kramer.
Yeah.
You know, they have the whole
Every
thing.
step of the way.
Yeah.
Whole life
I have a
cycle.
Bumblebee. I have a Candy. I have I have the Van Halen, you know, one album guitar or whatever. It's like I love that about BC Rich, and so we hang on to the fact that when we do make these guitars, it's not just because we're like in a shell. We make the guitars. It's because people are asking for this particular guitars. We want guitars with Kahlers. We want the crackle finish. We want you know. Then there's always that one guy, my favorite guy that I won't say his name, but I've hounded him a little bit. If you guys just made the Ironbird bass again, something we hadn't done for 2 decades, I mean, it's verbatim what it used to be. I mean, we put it out. It's like, oh, this is perfect. But if it had a reverse headstock, it would be great. That's the kind of fun stuff that we have to do.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come out with this guitar again. It's like, oh, why'd you put a reverse? You should have had a 3 in line. It's like, you know.
And I hear that from a lot of different brands, not just you guys. They always say the people that say, oh man, I like it, but if you had this, they're the people that also don't buy them. So even when you give it to them, they're still like, no.
Yeah.
It's just so it's weird thing. I got to thank you again, you know, for being here, Bill, for doing this. I mean, this is a big moment for you guys. We're happy to be here. This is an honor. Our excursions on the road, BC Rich headquarters. Big things on the way that we can't talk about, but man, what a great moment.
I just moved to Florida, so that's got to tell you, you know.
Yep, that tells you guys something, right? Yep. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, guys. Again, if you don't do it, shred the notification bell. Drop a comment. Let us know what your favorite BC Rich is. Let us know your fondest memories. Did you grow up? Did you have BC Riches in your arsenal? You just start collecting them today? Let us know. Share it. Share this video. Grow with us. Easiest way to support the channel without ever having to open up your wallet. But if you do, you already know where I'm going to go with that. Check those out as well. And again, thank you to our incredible official sponsors that helped us make this happen. The Mighty Guitar Center, where you can go and shop their entire line of BC Rich Legacy guitars and awesome used and vintage ones as well too. Online at guitarcenter.com, or go to your local Guitar Center and try these BC Riches out. You'll understand exactly what we're talking about. Thank you guys for tuning in, and this concludes this episode of Excursions. See you soon.